I'm Gavin, and this is MLS Fantasy Picks. Before we get into round 22 picks, here's a quick round 21 recap. A strange week. I ended with 68 points for round 21. I had a week rank of 1,128, and my overall rank is now 21. My budget increased to $180.4 million. What went right? Well, I was glad that I updated my captain pick to Evander. I originally had Lucho, but after seeing that Cincy formation, I pivoted to Evander, which helped me basically stay alive last week. Otherwise, no one really showed up besides Cucho. So, what went wrong? Well, Robinson got the red, hate to see that, and also all my bench picks flopped, and the majority of my team disappointed. So, fair enough, last week, it was a weird one. Alright, let's take a look at the MLS Fantasy Picks leagues. Looking at the MLS Fantasy Picks Open League, shout out to Appenda with 95 points. All those clean sheets really made your week with the differentials. And looking at the head-to-head league, no change. Still 2 teams battling for the top spot. However, I was close to losing this week. It would be Weeby Jeebies at the front if Evander didn't get that late goal. Alright, enough of that. Let's get into round 22. As always, some key considerations for the round. So our international tournaments of Copa America and the Euros have completed, though I'm not sure how soon those players will be coming back. I'm sure you've seen Messi was injured. So we'll see if the main guys are coming back or if they need a bit of rest. Also to note, the Olympics will be starting soon, so a lot of players have already gone out to camp. So some big names would be, I think, Patrick Schulte from Columbus and Mihailovic from Colorado. We've got Tolkien at the Red Bull. So just keep an eye out. Feel free to go check, the U.S. Olympics and other countries' call-ups. All right. Also, it is a huge double game week back in the double game week territory. Yeah, you know the drill. I'm normally one to go with an auto root for the week, as I think it's the safest bet. And then buy teams. No teams on buy, but I think DC and Portland are on some single game weeks, though I'm not using them for my scrubs. I think I'm just going to go with a couple guys that got loaned out. And then very important this week, of course, is injuries, reds, and yellow cards. Be sure to check out the MLS disciplinary summary as well as the injury report that they share a day before matches start. Yellow card watch is really important for double game weeks because, say, a player like Ricky Puig, if he gets a yellow on Wednesday, then he's not going to play Saturday and he won't get that double game week benefit. So I'll call out a couple of those when I go through my picks, but just keep that in mind. All right, let's get into player picks. So I won't be going through the whole switcheroo matchup type of deal this week. I'm not one to do switcheroos on a double game week. But yeah, I'll call out if it's a double home type of player or, one home, one away as I go through my picks. And if you also saw my last video, I'm no longer doing the premium, standard, and budget picks. I feel like we've all got plenty of money at this point in the season. So I'm just going to go through my most recommended players for the week. All right, so let's get started with keepers. So I feel like I'm looking at someone like a Coronel on the front end of a keeperoo and then moving into Takaoka with Vancouver. Coronel's got the double home, pretty good matchups. If he doesn't get that clean sheet against Montreal, I'll then pivot to Takaoka with Vancouver, who also has 2 home games. And they're also decent matchups against SKC and Houston. So I like Takaoka on the back end. Some other options, though a bit of a stretch, would be Philly with the early game, either Andrew, Rick, or Semla, whoever's playing. And also another late keeper I like is Fry with Seattle. I think Philly have a home and away. They've got the Revs, and then they're away. They're double home, so even better. And then Seattle also may be double home. So yeah, looking at double home keepers this double game week. All right, so looking at defenders, I've got Gressel from Miami. He's got the double home against Toronto and Chicago, both great matchups for Miami. However, I think something is most likely to happen, and they're probably going to give up both those clean sheets. So I'm not going to double stack with Gressel and Alba. I feel like things could go wrong. So I'm just going to stick with the one. Gressel has been in good form without Messi, so we'll see if he keeps that up. Another one, I've got Kai Wagner. Yes, Philly is going to be missing some guys for the Olympics and have not been themselves as of late, but they also have some decent matchups against New England and Nashville, and Wagner is one on set pieces and can get into the attack. And then another guy I like is, a Columbus defender, Moreira, double home. Oh, actually, one home, one away, but the away game is against Atlanta, and I feel like Atlanta haven't been too great. So I like Moreira. He can also get in there, get some assists going, and Columbus is just looking so good. Got to have a couple Columbus players this week. And then a bit of a stretch pick is Harper with the Red Bull. I picked him up last week, and he was looking good on the attacking front. He's out of position, playing more on the attacking side. We'll see if that continues. But if you're looking for a stretch type of differential pick, I think Harper is a decent shout. They're home. We'll see if he starts. And then another play I like is Seattle, like I said before, for keepers. You've got Reagan with the double home. And then also I think Vancouver, as I said, with goalkeepers. You've got Veselinovic as well as an option. And moving to midfielders, I feel like the two chalk picks this week is probably going to be Gauld with Vancouver and then Bogusz with LAFC. Gauld, he's been in good form. He doesn't have a yellow card watch, which is good. I don't think he does. And yeah, double home against SKC and Houston. Two good matchups. And then Bogusz didn't have a great week last week, but this is still LAFC. I feel like they're still a solid team, and they're against RSL in Seattle. And there's, I don't think, a lot of fantastic midfield options this week, so I feel like you got to at least go with those two. And this one is a bit of a fun pick. I haven't really looked at Orlando or Torres a lot this year, but I feel like Orlando are on a good trend, and they have some decent matchups, and Torres isn't on yellow card watch. So I'll most likely be going with a 5-3-2 formation with Gauld, Bogusz, and Torres. And then these two guys, Acosta and Puig, are on yellow card watch. So as I said before, in the Chicago game, if Acosta gets a yellow card, he won't play in the Red Bull game. And if Puig gets a yellow card in the Colorado game, he won't play in the Portland game. So a bit risky, but I feel like these guys are still solid. Puig hasn't done great the past few weeks, but it's still Ricky Puig. I feel like they've got some good matchups, so I'm probably going to play Lucho and Puig on the bench. And some other fun picks this week. I feel Lewis Morgan with the Red Bull, he could be a stretch bench play. I feel like he's pretty goal dependent, but hey, if he scores some goals, could be a good differential. And also Robin Lod of Minnesota. So Lod, we haven't really looked at too much recently. Minnesota haven't been looking too great, but you know, I personally don't see a lot of great midfield options this week, so I think those are some solid picks there if you want to play some flyers. And with forwards, you got to go with Cucho. He's been crushing it. Yes, Rossi's been stealing a little bit of the points, but this is still Cucho. He's still, you know, one of the best fantasy strikers out there. And then Bouanga didn't do great last week, but still, I like Bouanga. He's got some good matchups this week. And then for my bench play, because he's on yellow card watch, is Brian White. He's been in good form recently. Double home. Him and Gauld have been clicking really well. So yeah, I think he's a good bench play. And then another fun pick. I'm not sure if he'll be starting coming back from Copa America, but Luis Suarez, could he be a good shout? I don't know. His matchups are decent. I'll see what lineups are looking like on Wednesday. And finishing off with captains, I've got Gauld, Cucho, and Bouanga. I'm more one to lean towards a midfield captain, so I may be looking at Gauld, but I feel like Cucho and you know, Bouanga are decent shouts as well. All right, so that wraps up my round 22 player picks. Good to be back with the long form videos. Apologies for the little break there. Had a nice little vacation down in North Carolina. Really enjoyed that. But yeah, good luck everyone on this huge double game week.